Good afternoon. Welcome to Songbird Homestead. I am Kimberly. I am a backyard homesteader on just about 3/4 of an acre up in the town and area of Northeast Maryland. That's the town's name. That's where it's located, the tippy top, all the way to the right of Maryland, almost to the Delaware line. I would like to welcome myself and y'all back because I had no idea it had been so long since I had shot a video. I knew it had been a while. I thought it was like end of maybe not November, end of October. Is actually the beginning of September, so like Labor Day weekend. Yeah, I had no idea. And the reason I haven't shot videos isn't because I didn't have anything going on. It's not like I was sitting with my feet propped up. I had so much going on. I've been so busy that I just didn't have the time, and I kept trying to. One of the biggest changes is we got 2 lab puppies. Maybe sometime in October, I think, and 2 lab puppies was a little more than I bargained for. So it was really hard to get outside and find like a continuous period of time to just shoot a video. Puppies are a lot of work. 2 puppies. 2 lab puppies, forget it. So now they're about 9 months old. They're very big and beefy. They're just big dogs. I'll show you them in a minute, but I definitely couldn't start the season off or go any further into the season without shooting a video. So here I am, gonna mark this point and go here forward. We're not gonna worry about the last whatever amount of months that I have neglected to shoot a video, but let's go outside and see what's happening. Oh, did you hear that? So that's one of our dogs. Gonzo and Jagger, that's their names, and I'll show them to you now. So that's Jagger, and that's Gonzo. Hello. Say hello, boys. They're super sweet, but again, lab puppies, and look how big they are. They go to the vets on Thursday, so I'm going to see what the vet has to say about what they weigh. I'm not sure how much they're weighing these days. Say hello. Hello, handsome. You're such a good boy. And then this is Gonzo. Obviously, after the Muppets, Gonzo and the Muppets. I'm a big Muppets fan. And Jagger, he's named Jagger. My husband named him after Mick Jagger, of course. Anyway, that's our boy. So I'm going to try and shoot this video without them interrupting too much, but we'll see. So let's see this. So there have been a lot of changes, which is one of the reasons I like to shoot videos, so that I can go back and look at all the different things happening that have happened over the years. This is a staple that I have, my herb garden. I'll share this to you. So this is my herb garden. We moved here middle of the summer in 2023. So this is going to be my 4th summer, which I have a hard time believing. But we put this in right away. All the stuff came back, the stuff I'm about to show you. We had a very, very cold, heavy ice winter. A lot of ice, a lot of snow, especially in like January, February. I'm surprised all this came back. This is my sage, which is already going to seed, oddly enough. This is oregano, which is beautiful, my chamomile. And then this, I'm really surprised because it's eucalyptus. I had never grown eucalyptus. I grew it from a plant, and surprisingly it came back this year, which I don't think it's supposed to. More chamomile, of course. I haven't put anything else in the ground yet because it's been kind of chilly. More oregano. So one of the things that I've been struggling with, I'm going to take off my jacket. We've had a really cold spring. We did have a couple of 80-degree days, but it has been, like this morning it was in the 50s. We just haven't had any like long periods of warm days. Last year I put my tomatoes in their homes. Oh gosh, I think it was like the end of April, which is 2 weeks sooner than normal. Mother's Day was yesterday. I'm gonna shoot for this week, but so I feel like I'm a little bit behind, which is unfortunate. But again, a lot of changes this year, mainly because of the dogs. They're very destructive, as anyone who's had puppies will know, between the chickens and the puppies. So we've had to make some changes. It's taken us a little bit. I was a little discouraged at the beginning of the year, not knowing how everything was going to unfold. But so far, I think we're going to be okay. I'll show you my garlic now. I grow garlic every year. I've done videos about it, especially on Instagram. I talk about it. Garlic goes in the fall, comes out like in the May, mid-June or whatever. I haven't bought garlic in like 6 years. And let me show you. This fencing is new, which is, I love the way it turned out. So the other fence was kind of sagging and just like a green mesh fence. This is just more, you know, a little stiffer wire or whatever. But my garlic, you guys look, I mean, every year I'm more and more impressed every year with the way our garlic looks. Probably close to 100 heads there, which will be enough garlic for us to eat and then have some to plant in the fall again. We have 8 beds here. These are where I put my peppers. My peppers love it here. I'm very reluctant because some of our beds we have fenced in because of the dogs and the chickens. This set of 8 beds we have not fenced in. I thought about moving them, but then I got to move the dirt and then you lose dirt. And I'm like, no, let me leave them there, but I don't know. So they're empty right now. I don't really want to move these because if you look here, but see how much we've lost already because the dogs have kicked it out. But look at this soil. It's wonderful. This is 4 years of compost and amending and hi baby. All right, come on, come out. This is the problem. Come on, this is real life, guys. Come on, step out, please. Thank you. These 4 beds here, we put them in our first summer. These went in the summer of 24. But even that soil is looking decent. There's some weeds. But yeah, see, the soil is just really, really, really good. Look at that. Come on, Gonzo, out. Come on. Again, that's the problem. Come on, let's go. Come on, Mama. Mama loves you, but I want you out. So you can see why the dogs are a problem. This is something that's new. My husband did this. I went away for the weekend for just a couple days away with one of my children and their family, my grandson. It was a wonderful time. But while I was gone, my husband did a couple of things, and this is the thing he did that it wasn't my idea, but I love the way it turned out. Ta-da! So my husband told me he wanted to paint the door. He said pick out a color, and I happen to be in a yellow season right now, so I picked out yellow. That metal thing, that bull thing, or the longhorn, I don't remember where we got that, but we got it. He liked it. He put it on the door. I don't hate it. It's his door too, right? We happen to like fun colors, so the yellow really, I think it really works. In addition to that, and if you look at past videos, you'll see that the only thing we had here was the green stalk and the table. My husband did put these dowels up on here last year for my assortment of watering cans, but with water in them, they turned out to be too heavy. And even if they were empty when I hung them up, it would rain, they'd fill up, and they snapped one of the dowels off. So now I have these little planters here. I'm trying to grow herbs. You'll see I have some chives that are popping up here and here. I did put holes, I believe, yep, in the bottom. So one thing that's I really love this, and this is very functional, is when I water the yellow one, the water runs out into the green and then into the purple and then down into my perennial bed, which means I'm not wasting water. It's an environmentally friendly system. This perennial garden here is new. I did that. I have some lantana in there, but I also have a couple black-eyed Susans, some lilies, I think some snowdrops are in there, and then I'm going to put that probably in the ground, I think. We'll see. Lavender and rosemary, and then that's ginger. But again, like I said, this was pretty basic. So I really love how this turned out. I also added these bricks, a little pathway. I'm trying to make it kind of cottagey and just whimsical a little bit. So we're still working on it, but I love how every year it's a little bit more, heading in that direction. So I love it. I think the yellow from the door really pops too. When we first moved here, there was nothing. I think they had a dogwood tree planted out by the front. It's one of the reasons we like this place so much, because it was completely bare. But we had come from a a nice size, I don't know, yard, whatever. It's about 1/5 of an acre. That had a lot of nooks and crannies and little cozy spots and a lot of characters, we say. This place had nothing. So we're finally at the point where this place, we're getting some little character spots. See that in the back? See the chimenea and then the bench. I'm going to make that another little sitting area. So we're slowly giving it some character and some personality, which I'm excited about. Let me show you a couple other things here. I'm going to show you the biggest, the newest biggest thing. Like I said, the dogs were my concern. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to grow anything this year, just because they're in beds. They like to dig. They like to, last year when we got them, they were like eating tomatoes and cucumbers right off the plant. And we're like, oh, isn't that cute? It's the end of the season. We didn't care. But it's a problem now because we don't know. Nothing's growing yet. But I don't want to find out. So here's what we did. So much to my dismay, we had to put up an inside fence. Inside our fenced-in yard. So that goes all the way to the back, almost to the woods. There's like 30 or 40 foot from the rear fence to the woods, but that's just empty. We don't have anything there. So this is my fenced-in garden, which like I said, we just had to do. My husband built this gate. It looks wonky, but I promise you it's fine. There's a slope here, so that is level. This here is according to the slope, so that's why it looks like kind of crooked, but I promise you it's not. But yeah, so he built this like over the weekend while I was away. These beds, oh wow, look, my zinnias. Haha. Oh my goodness, let's see if these came up. Exciting. So these beds, again, we've lost dirt because of the dogs, so I need to weed this. I'm already way behind schedule, but you'll see I have beans that came up. So these two beds, and here's another thing. Look at this sage, you guys. Like, that survived the winter. It's gorgeous. But a lot of weeds. I need to put dirt. I'm gonna probably get a couple front loader full of planting soil delivered this week. Yep. These two beds are new. I got them on Marketplace. There's a funny story behind these, which I'll save that for another day. But I have these two. I did plant onion sets in here, just in the middle. I think like 80 of them or so. And then I'm going to plant stuff on the outside. I'm not sure what's going to go in here. And then these, of course, are my 2 tomato beds. Now, if you recall, these, I have 4 of them, and they were 1, 2, 3, 4, and I had beautiful pink zinnias. Now, zinnias are one of my favorite flowers. So I put, there we go. I had 4 circular metal beds here of zinnias. Because I got these, I put these here, and I moved the zinnias, and I have 1 on each end of my long beds. So the reason I do that is I like to companion plant. I like to put a lot of flowers in my beds, or around my beds or near my beds. So just for pollination purposes. So I'm going to show you that. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So each of these long beds is going to have zinnias. Now, what's funny is, and we'll see what happens, this bed, this is seeds that I saved from last year. And these haven't come up yet. We did get rain last night, but you'll see this one. And then, of course, the other one that we saw, and then the other one we saw. The ones that I did not save, they have already come up. So, like I said, each of those 4 things will have zinnias in them. And I really find that it helps my fruiting. The amount of stuff I get off of my plants, I feel like is substantial. And I really give credit to the pollinators, because I think it makes a big difference when I have a lot of flowers. When I started putting flowers, just like I said, I'll stick flowers, marigolds, zinnias, whatever. I'll plant sunflowers on the ends. And that really helps to bring the pollinators in. And I've seen that a lot of my flowers are getting pollinated, which is, of course, yielding more fruit. So, oh, look, and here are the dogs in. We came through the, I didn't shut the gate, so I guess the gate's no good if I don't actually lock it. But there's nothing planted in here except the onions. But anyway, I really would encourage you, if you don't plant flowers in with your stuff, and it also helps to increase the diversity of the soil. Different microbes are getting in there. It really does. It is beneficial. So I would say plant the flowers for that reason, but also they're beautiful. And I come out here all the time, you'll see, and I pick flowers. I have bouquets all through, different rooms of my house. It really, I don't know, it's just an added benefit. So I would definitely encourage you to do that. But these beds, like I said, I'm hoping to get a couple loads of compostable soil, whatever, or compost soil put in here. I gotta weed these very soon, and then hopefully I'm hoping by the end of this week, I'm trying not to plant anything this weekend so that I can get all my plants in. Like I said, I'll be almost a month behind what when I planted them last year. But what, sometimes that happens, the weather interferes. Like I said, it's I had a jacket on at the beginning of this video. It's probably maybe in the low 70s. It's been chilly. It's been cold overnight. We've had frost up until like last week, so I don't know, but hopefully I'm hoping to get these beds planted this week. Tomatoes, eggplants, all my nightshades, that kind of thing. Definitely my cucumbers. I did not start as many seeds this year. Normally I start everything from seed. This year I didn't do that, and the reason is I found out that, I think it was last year or the year before, I planted, I think it was melons or something, and there was a groundhog that ate, it was zucchinis. Groundhog came and ate some of my baby zucchini and squash plants that had come up. So of course I was like, all right, well, I just got to replant them. The ones that I replanted eventually caught up with the other ones that the groundhog didn't eat, that I had started from seed. So I found that it's really not worth it for me to start some things from seed, like zucchini, melons, cantaloupes, squashes, that sort of thing. I'm just going to start them from in the ground. If they're a couple weeks late, it's not worth for me to start them in February in my basement, because that's a big job when I don't have a greenhouse. Eventually, maybe that's an I would love to have, not an I must have. So in the meantime, we're making it work without it. All right. I'm gonna latch this gate. There we go. These are our berries that I'm about to show you. I want this whole fence to eventually be nothing but berries. I'd like to block out the neighbors a little bit. But I think it's a good spot for them too. I'll show you what I have here. I have a couple raspberry, a couple blackberry. So this is a blackberry. It was bigger. The dogs broke it off, as you can see. But fortunately, yep, that's you. You're the dog. One of the dogs. Fortunately, it came up. This is another one. We got these from a local gentleman, which I like. I like to source locally, and this gentleman had some starts or some canes in his yard, and dug them up and sold them on Facebook Marketplace for like $10 a plant. So that one's great. That one would be nice like this, but again, one of the dogs, I wonder who, ate it. This is a raspberry. I had high hopes for this. I actually bought this from a local nursery, and well, you can see what happened to it, so I really can't complain about that. These, yeah, TSC this year. Dogs are getting it. We'll see what happens with them next year. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. My husband puts these wooden things there. Yeah, look, even the gate, look. Yeah. You're not making a very good pitch for dogs and gardeners. No, you're not, but you're so stinking cute. This we dug up from our other raspberry on the side. So we dug it up and we planted it. I think it's going to do okay. We'll see. But anyway, so far I have like 5, but hopefully in a couple years we'll be like, oh yeah, look how big they are. Probably won't get any, but we might get some berries off of that one though. This last year was where I planted my melons. You can see the patch. We'll probably move it maybe behind the trees. We'll see, I'm not sure, because I don't want to take up all the dog space. So that was something that was really important to me. We bought the dogs and that breed knowing they were going to need a good bit of space to run around in. Like I said, we're only about 3/4 of an acre, so we felt like that was enough room, right? Kind of stupid to not realize that they were going to be such a problem in the yard. Now, we did have a pit lab mix prior to her, Apple. She's in some of our older videos. We lost her about 2 years ago, sadly enough. We still miss our sweet girl. But she was never a problem with the garden. But she was also a little bit of a princess. As much as like a tough girl as she was, and let me tell you, she'd give it to you. But, or not to us, but like she would, really like, she was a good protector. But she also didn't like walking on like wet grass or even like high grass. Like we had to put bricks down at our old place so she could have a path to walk on. I used to lay a mat down for her, a yoga mat she would lay on. So I was used to that kind of dog. These boys are a whole different animal, literally. They don't care. So we didn't know it was going to be a problem. So hence now we had to put up a fence, but I didn't want to fully take away their whole yard. I just didn't feel like that was fair to them. So we fenced in the immediate garden area, but we left this whole big back area. And no, it's plenty of space for them. Trust me, they have plenty of space to run around. But so this back part, we're probably going to, like I said, I'd like to plant my melons back here. We'll see. I don't know. I might have to plant them behind the fence. I don't know, but this is also our area where we have our orchard. We have a couple of peach trees and an apple tree, and I think that's another peach tree. We have a fig tree that's about this tall that I bought for my husband last week, just for all he likes figs, and I just as a thank you for him for all the work, because he does a lot of work out here. So anyway, I bought him a fig tree. It's about this tall. We're going to plant it probably back here too. This is going to be like our little orchard. But we have a couple of peach trees. I'll show you. Now, what's funny is, I bought this peach tree and it was a little damaged. So I emailed the company. I don't know if it was Gurney's. I can't remember. Brex. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up and see. And I wanted to, I just let them know because I was like, hey, there's a lot of damage on this. So they told me to keep it and they sent me another one. So I kept it. I ended up planting it because I was like, let me give it a shot. And I really wasn't trying to get a free tree, but then they sent me a second tree, which is this guy right here. But this tree, what I've noticed this year is I think we're going to have peaches. Look at that. You see that little tree, that little peach right there? And then same thing over here. Now this one's actually taller than me. And I know there are some peaches, but I have to make sure. Where are they? I don't know. Oh, here we go. Oh my goodness, look at that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to be, I'm hoping if we get one peach. You guys, if I can get like one peach, I cannot tell you how excited I'm going to be. There's just something so exciting about that first time that you get something, that you're growing something. I remember the first time I grew asparagus, and this was probably before we were even on YouTube or anything like that. Maybe I was on Instagram. I know I was on Instagram, but I don't know if I posted about this. But we got asparagus for the first time, and I was so excited. I fell to the ground, hysterically overwhelmed. I was so excited. Look at this guy. Look. He's relentless, I'm telling you. I was so excited. I fell to the ground. And unfortunately, we had just cut off a bunch of, I almost said broccoli, of bamboo in our yard. So it was flat, but they had the crowns. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. And I fell and I landed so hard, my knee. I thought I broke my kneecap, but I was so hysterical. And I was so excited. I'm yelling for my husband, but I'm crying because I'm hurt, but I'm so excited. And he was so confused. He came running outside, but I was so excited because I grew asparagus, which I'm going to show you our asparagus now. I'm equally excited by this little patch we have. But same thing with the first time I made apple cider vinegar, or I made sourdough for the first time earlier this year after a couple years of trying and failing and killing starters. So if I can get a peach, I hope to have that level of excitement, and I know I will. But again, this is the one that they sent me as a replacement for this one, and they're both doing great. This here is our apple tree. I did not come out here and check apple blossoms, And I think we had a late freeze, and I think that whatever chance of having apples this year, I mean, I don't know. I've just never had apples. You know, I have never grown apples, so I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm hoping one day I'm like, oh, look, there it is. Maybe I should do some research instead of just planting stuff and not knowing what I'm doing. Hello there, sweet boy. Hello there, Garbanzo Bean. Gonzo. Yeah, he kind of follows me around. He's my shadow. This guy, he's a little more serious. Jagger. Jagger. Yeah, he don't care. He has a bone. He's good. So anyway, we got peaches, we have apples. I have 2 more apple trees up there that we moved from our other place. This one here, that's a green apple, Granny Smith. I planted that. We planted it like maybe 2 years ago. So I'm hoping like next year. We probably could have had some, but I wasn't mindful enough of the frost, which that happens, I guess. Let's see. Here's our compost. We're up to 4 bins now. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're not putting anything here. This is whatever. This is the 2 active ones. We have to cover it extensively because the dogs will go in there and eat all of our food, because that's just what dogs do, what puppies do. It's just pallets. My husband made it. Actually, all of this stuff pretty much he made. So I mentioned my asparagus, right? How happy I was a couple years ago. Look how big my asparagus is now. Look at all of this. This is all asparagus. Now we have let it grow to seed. It's going to eventually become ferny, whatever. But look. If you've never grown asparagus, I highly encourage it. However, oh, sorry about that, sweet boy. However, it does take a couple years. Plant it anyway, because time's gonna pass anyway. Isn't that what they say? So plant it, and then here, let me show you. So here, I just want to get down and show you. Like I said, it takes a couple of years. The first couple years, we might have harvested a little bit, but yeah, you can just snap it off. If you don't snap it off, you want some? There you go. It gets tall and then eventually goes to seeds and gets ferny. We put this down here, and this is the same stuff that's around our garlic. We had to have something to keep the dogs from running it over, and I did not want to move my asparagus again and start over. So we put this down, got a couple bricks, it's underneath. Very simple, very ingenious. My husband, the brilliant man that he is, came up with that idea. He's very resourceful. But yeah, asparagus is very fun. Look, here's another one. It's so tender, you almost didn't have to cook it. I prefer it like this. So good. There's my asparagus patch. Compost. And again, I remember when that asparagus patch, we had the first little asparagus back at our old house, and how excited I was. And I'm still very excited about it because it's just, it's so rewarding. And what's nice about stuff like asparagus, the strawberries, berry bushes, fruit trees, once you plant them, garlic, did I say garlic? The herbs, you don't have to plant them again. They come back every year, so it's very sustainable, economical. You know, from a financial point of view, you pay for it once and you have to maintain it, but there's really no maintaining that, you know, and you get free food for a long time. So I encourage you to, I encourage everyone to grow whatever kind of food they can, but if you can grow food, look at that boy, look how handsome he is. If you can grow any kind of food, great. If you can grow food that comes back every year, that's even better. This is my perennial bed. Don't ask me what any of this stuff is because I don't know. Actually, that's not true. This is a rose bush. My husband bought me this for our anniversary last year. It's a yellow rose bush. These are lilies that one of my sisters gave me. I don't know if this is milkweed. I'm hoping this is my milkweed coming back. I think it is. Don't eat it, please, Gonzo. I promise you he had dinner. And then all these things. Once these things come up, I'll have a better idea of what they are. But right now, I don't know. Obviously, that's an allium. No, you cannot have it. You're so cute, though. No, you cannot have it. I don't remember. I have it written down somewhere, but it doesn't matter to me. I just like having a perennial flower garden that comes back every year. This, I did not plant these this year. This is my sage. This is from last year. These were on clearance at Tractor Supply. I thought I had thyme in here, but I guess the thyme didn't make it. But yeah, I didn't even have to like plant that this year, and it automatically I have a filled flower pot. So this is another one of our apple trees. This one we moved from our old house. This is Honeycrisp. So that's a Honeycrisp. We moved it from our old house. It didn't get the love and light and support that it needed at our old house. But here it's a little bit better cared for. It's getting better light. It's getting just better. It's a better situation here for it. So I'm hoping we're going to get apples off of this eventually. And then here's another one. Same thing. This one is a Gala apple, I think. Where's my little tag? Oh, here it is. Yeah, let me show you my tags. So I did this when these were itty bitty. This is the very bottom branch. This is how small they were when I did it. I took this little metal things, and I had a little project day, and I see it says Gala. Yeah, and that's been on there since I planted them the very first time, and now it's all kinds of big. So hopefully we'll get apples eventually. We still have our chickens. We have a flock of I'm not sure how many now. We're getting quite a bit of eggs. We have all different colored eggs, blue, green, the tan, the beige. We also this year we have some chocolate Morans, so I'm hoping to get the real dark, deep chocolate looking eggs. Excuse me. I'm gonna show you my strawberries. Oh, before I forget, these are our blueberries. We're hoping to get lots of blueberries this year. Now, I will tell you, we have not netted these, as you can see. They are really in here. This is a traditional blueberry. These are just, I forget the kind. I don't know. I'm really bad about that. I apologize. I did get it from a local nursery, though. In like Forest Hill, Maryland, near where one of my daughters lives. This one is a pink lemonade blueberry. My son got this from me for Mother's Day, probably like 2020, and I swear I've only gotten like a handful of berries off, but every year I try to save it. And oh look, there might be, look, okay. See those flowers there? I don't know if you can see them. I'm hoping eventually I'm going to get some, I don't know. It just has never done very well, and we'll see. But regardless, this is my strawberry patch. This is like amazing. Look at all those plants in there. Now, I had to net this because I love my strawberries. We love our strawberries, and I don't like buying them from the store. I will show you. You can see we already have quite a bit of flowers. They're probably hidden underneath. I don't think we've gotten any actual berries yet, but regardless, it's gonna be a nice crop, hopefully. So I feel like that's everything. I mean, there's not a whole lot to show, of course, this time of the year. There's probably some things I miss, our grapes, our cherry tree, we have horseradish. I have my green stalk, I could show you that. I've never had a whole lot of success with the green stalk. Of course, so subsequently, I ended up buying 2 more because, you know, marketing is effective. I haven't set them up yet, but I'll show you what's in these. This is just radishes, carrots, and then more radishes that I thought I was planting beets, but I mixed the radishes in and just messed up, but here you go. If you're a new gardener, one thing I would encourage you to do is grow stuff that you're going to eat. You'll see, I think you saw I have over near my one bed, I have beans that came up. They came up accidentally, and they came up of no will of mine, because I said that I was not growing beans this year because we just don't eat beans. I've grown them a couple years. They're fun, they're fantastic, they're easy to pick, easy to grow. We just don't eat them. So those beans over there, good for them. I don't know, I'll pick them, and now what I will do is let them stay on the vine, pick them, shell them, and then use them in soups and stuff like that. Like that I'll do. But I love radishes. I have another bed of radishes up on my deck that I'm growing. I can show you that. Or not, they're radishes. You see what they look like. But radishes, garlic, things that we eat. I grow a lot of peppers because my husband loves a lot of, he likes spicy food, so we grow a lot of peppers. That's my biggest advice for anyone new. And the other thing is, don't try to do too much. This is a culmination. I mean, we started our first garden was probably like in, I don't know, 2015 or so. There's a funny picture of me trying to push a tiller that I rented from Home Depot in this completely rocky soil. But anyway, it's like 2015. We did that for like 1 year. It didn't, it was fine, but it wasn't hugely successful. And then COVID hit. There were some food security issues, and of course, boom. Next thing you know, I jumped on the bandwagon, and here we are, and that was 2020, so 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is our 7th year. Oh, wow. That's crazy. But yeah, so I would encourage you to just start slow, start small, grow stuff that you're gonna eat. Don't grow stuff that you're not interested in. It's just not effective. But that's it for today. I'm happy to be back on here. I can't believe it's been quite so long as it's been. Shame on me. Like I said, it's not because I haven't been busy or haven't had anything to shoot. It's because I've been so busy. Winter was rough. We had last year was a great year. Probably our best year yet. Excuse me. Winter was rough. Not so much in the beginning, but then when we had a really bad ice storm, January or February. I mean, when I say we had a foot of ice out in our backyard, I have a 4-wheel drive vehicle, but it's a lower vehicle. I have a Subaru, and it was, I couldn't get in my driveway because we thought, oh, we don't need this, we'll just drive over it. My husband could get out, and he had a truck, but I couldn't. I was home for 3 days. It was wonderful. It was magnificent. The only benefit of the snow was that. But our yard, I had probably, I know it was easy a foot of ice. It was very treacherous getting back and forth to like the chicken coop. And of course, they have to be, fed and water a couple times a day, especially when it's freezing like that. But we made it. So I am so happy that spring is here. I'm hoping this weather is going to just move forward and continue, and we don't have any more cold, days that I have to close the windows and wear a sweater or a jacket or long pants. I'm sick of that. So, excuse me. Thanks for joining me. Happy to be back. Hopefully, I'm going to try and post content like once a week. That's what I'm shooting for. So that way I can just, keep up and maybe shoot shorter videos. But this is a little longer because, I had to cover the whole thing, and it was a whole tour, even though there's not a whole lot going on. But anyway, have a great evening, and I hope to talk to you again soon. Thanks for stopping by Songbird Homestead.